Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 94. Just wrapped up the Kentucky Derby episode, and I mean, things weren't great on it, but overall, you can't complain. Lost $64 for the day, not bad. And today is Cinco de Mayo. It is Sunday afternoon, and I have already made my first stop at my first casino, and that casino happens to be the racetrack where I cashed out my tickets, and I really didn't have a lot of good things happen to me. I found a couple tiny plays and lost $20 or $30 on them, and then I had a big play and played that one through and lost about $300 on that one, and then walked around and talked to a couple AP friends that I saw in there. At that point, I was down around $360, and things kind of seemed hopeless with all those people checking machines in there. But I still persisted and took one more lap around, found two more plays, and I played those through, and those got me to minus 90 for the session. So minus 90 to start the Cinco de Mayo, and I was able to get my food for the week, which I really didn't want any food, and I wasn't prepared to eat any food, so I just got bottles of water, and those will last me for a while on this trip and for the week. And right now I'm moving on. One other thing, as I was leaving home, and now it's kind of haunting me, but as I was leaving home, I'm driving by this grassy area, and there was a gas can that someone had discarded or flew out of their car or out of their truck or something, and I'd seen it there the last couple times I'd driven by, and it was still there. It looked like it was still new, so I pulled back around and picked it up and put it in the trunk, and now that it's been in the trunk for a couple hours, the car is starting to smell like gas. So that's not the greatest, but what are you going to do? I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the car. I'll just keep my windows open a little bit when I'm in a casino, and I shouldn't smell it when I come back. So that's free AV, I guess, so except minus the AV of the smell. Anyway, all right, so today, like I said, is Sunday. It's 81 degrees, Sunday afternoon. I'm just leaving my first stop, going to my second stop. I'm going to need to stop for gas at least once, possibly twice today, so that'll slow us down a little bit, but overall, it was a nice day. I did pick up my new zero-turn mower yesterday and mowed 1 acre yesterday, 1¼ acres really, in about 23 minutes. So, and that's with obstacles, trees, a house in the way, a garden in the way, all that stuff. Still was able to mow that portion of the grass that fast. So very happy about that. It works really well. A few parts are now plastic that used to be metal, but that's life, right? I think I've learned enough from fixing the old mower that I think I could probably fix this one if it needed anything. And with the old one, it stopped making all the noises it was making before, so I may keep it or I may sell it. If it's not making noises and it's working well and someone else can use it, I will sell it and maybe get $500 or $700 for it. If it's looking terrible, then I may just keep it and run it into the ground. So anyway, right now, letting you go, and I'll be back to update you after my next stop. Alright guys, I'm back. So I go into this place and it's pretty busy, and I'm looking around and I see all my favorite people that we've discussed in the past, and I know it's going to be a rough day. Too early still, too many people still out, too many people checking machines. I take a lap around. I'm checking a machine, and I look down and I see a brand new iPhone sitting there. So I'm like, what is going on here? I'm finding money, iPhones, everything, everywhere. Gas cans, just in the last 24 hours. So I take it up to security, and as I'm walking it over to security, the phone rings, and I said, are you looking for your phone? And they said yes, and I told them where to find it. Got that off my back, and that was all good. So I assume that they got it from security. start walking around, looking at some more things. I see a couple machines I want to play, but the people never get off and they end up hitting. And then I find a decent play. I play it. I'm ahead $99. Going around, looking at some other stuff. I see a pretty good, not great play. Play that. I go from being ahead 99 to being down 100. So now I'm getting a little grumpy. Walking around. I go to this back area. I find a play. I find a short-term play, which is good, which I played it and I won a little bit. Then I find a very long-term play, which there's no way I'm going to play it because it's going to take 8 or 10 hours at $6 a spin, and it's not in great position. So I decided to pass on that one, walk around, look at some other things, and start getting myself buried. Now I'm down 200, now I'm down 300, now I'm down 400, now I'm involved for 500, and I finally hit this machine that I was chasing for like $348, and that puts me $25 away from even. I move on, I find another machine, which I'm like, what? People get stuck on a certain machine and they stop checking the other ones are good. I'm like, how is this still here? So it's at a low level, like, I don't know, $1.50 or 75 cents or 50 cents, something like that. I play that and I win on that. I win like $56, $58 on that one, and I end up ahead $26 for the session. I mean, I would have liked to have left ahead 100, but I didn't. I got a lot of points after that, so I don't know how much that's going to help me going forward, but I did leave ahead $26 there. And then I know I have food at this place, and they'll be closed next time I'm here, but just the line was too long. There was 5 or 6 people in line, and it takes forever because can I see your card? Can I see your ID? What do you want to order? Then they have to give them a little buzzer thing, and then, you know, it's this big explanation, and they give them their cup, and it's just a big mess. So I just decided to walk away from that. I think I had about 30 in food there that I let go. So maybe next time I'm here, if they're open, I will pick that up. So far, not a great day, but I think I remember around this time last week, and it's not, I don't think it's on my phone anymore, because I know I moved it over to my spreadsheet, that I was having a tough time too. Let me see, today is the 5th, last Sunday was the 28th, so yeah, I believe that day I ended up ahead like $860 or some kind of number like that, and here it is right here. I ended up, oh well, no, that one, I was ahead 1,800, 100, 100, 600, 400, yeah. I remember that day. That was actually a good day. But it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. So I'm moving on here to another place. We're going to get some blackjack time, and we're going to see if we can make another 1,000 playing blackjack. And I'll come back and update you. Right now, it's starting to get a little bit dark. It's 81 degrees, and another motorcycle flying by me at 110 miles an hour, and I'll be back to update you shortly. Alright guys, this is the story of the downfall, the comeback, and the bad boy. I like that. Yeah. The downfall, the comeback, and the bad boy. And all of it relates to me. So I walk into this place. No slots, of course. People wear the hell out of the slots over in this place. Go to the blackjack area. I see one open table. All the other ones are mobbed. I walk up. I buy in for 500. Lose that like ridiculously fast. Again, buy in for another 500. Last a little bit longer with that. But by the end of the shoe, that's gone too. But by the end of the shoe, the count's up. So I rebuy for 1,000 instead of 500 because I'm going to be betting 200 a hand here, and I don't want to buy in for 500 more. Then I have 200 and it's split in a double, and then I'm calling the pit boss over again. So I rebuy for 1,000. I ask for black. I put out 200. I lose. I put out 200. I lose. I put out 200. I lose. I'm like, well, this is nice. I just spotted the casino $1,600 to start. So I grind away, and at this casino, when they switch dealers, they burn a card. And of course, I know. It doesn't matter. Trends and all this, I understand the math. I get it. Believe me, I understand the math. I've already calculated, I've played almost 500,000 hands since I've been smart about it. And then who knows, a couple million before that. So, every time they switch dealers, I lose tons and tons of hands back to back to back to back. And finally, I'm sick of that bad table, and I decided to switch tables, especially since when that shoe ended, this Asian lady wanted to sit down, and she watched me for a whole shoe, and she's talking slow and taking her time and deciding and all this stuff. So I said, there's no way, I can't do it. So I switched tables to another table. By the way, today's spread was 50 to 400. So I go to the other table, start playing. First shoe, dealer gets 7 blackjacks. I get 0. 7. Second shoe, almost every hand the dealer has an ace in it somewhere. So that means it counts big time negative, right? Dealers are getting these 7 and 6 card hands with multiple aces, 1, 2, 3 aces in it, and I'm losing by 1, losing by 1, losing by 1. Splits and doubles are losing. Double an 11, get an ace. Double a 10, get a 2. And that's the way it was going for a long time. So I was at these two tables for a total of 2 hours and 5 minutes. And frankly, I was very worried. For one of the pit bosses that knows me from the original name I use at this casino and calls me by that every time she sees me, comes in halfway through my shift playing, and the other pit boss who knows my real name is also there, and they're in the same pit together, and then the card shuffler has a problem and they have to switch it out with another one, and she has to call people and people back and forth, and they have to have meetings and all this stuff. And I just never looked her in the eye the whole time, because I knew once I did, she's going to say, "Hey Joe, how's it going?" And the other one's going to say, "His name is not Joe, it's whatever." And so I just wanted to stay away from that. I had a couple shoes where I had some bigger counts and I had bigger bets out there, and then at the reset, the next shoe, I wouldn't go all the way down to 50, because now I just had $200, $300, $400 hands. I'd go down to like 100 or something like that, 150, and then go with the count from there. And most of that ended up pretty neutral. I don't think I made or lost any money on that, so that was all okay. But I did start to come back, and I'd get to so I was involved for a total of 3,500. So multiple times I split 3s to 3 hands and lost, and doubled and lost, split 8s and doubled and lost. But eventually I started clawing my way back, and like I said, I was in 35. I got to 2,500, and then I hung in there between 25 and 3,500 for almost an hour. And then finally I had a good little stretch, and I got to exactly even, and the count was slightly negative, and I'm like, I'm not leaving even. I'm going to keep on going here. I kept going. I finished that shoe out, and finally I ended up ahead $600. So plus 600 there. But do the math. 3,500 plus 600 is 4,100. 4,100, they're going to ask for my ID. So I go to the cashier, and my favorite lady that I had a big argument with about a year and a half ago was there. I cash out 2,600. She doesn't say a word. And then I go order some food, not using my player's card or anything, but order some food, play some slots so I could pay for the food, because I'm not paying for food, so the slots are going to pay for it. End up ahead like $11 on the slots, and then went back to the cashier. I was going to the poker cashier, but the poker cashier was closed for some reason. Even though they had a tournament and 7 or 8 tables going, they still had it closed. So I don't know the reason for that, but that really threw me off, because that's usually my go-to when I have too many chips. I go back to that cashier, and she asked for my ID. And I said, "I'm not giving you the ID." She said, "I know you have the player's card." I said, "I'm not giving you the player's card. I'm not giving you my ID. Give me back the chips." She said, "I'm not allowed to give you the chips." I said, The law says you have to either give me the chips or give me the money. You decide what you want to do. I'm going to stand right here. So she pulled up the screen where they put in the information of an unknown person, and she put in my description and all that, and finally gave me my money, and I left. But I shouldn't have done that. I'm here often enough that 1,500 in chips is not that big a deal for me to hold. But I did it. So anyway, I ended up ahead, like I said, 600 on the blackjack. I ended ahead $11 on the slots. And moving on to the next place, I'm sitting in the parking lot right now, going to eat this food before I go into the next place, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys. I'm walking into this casino. I was wrong, and I admit it. I should not have cashed out those chips. I shouldn't have even cashed out the 2,600, honestly, with as much buzz that was going on around me and the way that the shoes were going negative, negative, positive, positive, and me going high, low, flat betting, and then raising and all that. I should have never done it. So that was a mistake, and I'm going to try not to do that anymore. It wasn't worth it. So hopefully there's no issue and everything will be fine next time. But anyway, walking into this next place, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys. I was in and out of that place and found no plays at all. Didn't see a lot of people checking, but everything was clearly taken care of already. So there was no opportunity there. I wanted to mention something else that happened at the last casino. Oh, when I first got there, the dealer asked me if I had a player's card, and I said they know who I am. And then the lady said hi to me, the pit boss, and she said, I'm just going to create a person and put you in the computer, because when you take chips, I have to account for them. So I know you're going to take chips with you, so I'm just going to put you in as just like an anonymous person or a fake person. So now, this is not the first time that this has happened, you'll recall. I mean, there's another casino where they regularly do that for me, and that one is to protect me so that I never have too much of a buy-in for them to have to call surveillance. And now this lady's telling me, well, I know you're going to take chips with you, so I'm just going to go ahead and put you in as a certain person in here, fake person, and then that way I can account for the chips when you leave. And I know that she's not putting me in because I get something in my email anytime I go into this casino and use my card. It sends me an email. So I'm positive that she's not putting me in when she does this. So, and I've checked my points, and my points remain at 0. So if she was putting me in, I would get some kind of credit for play. So that was another factor there that made me a little bit nervous. But honestly, the way things went down, the first 20 minutes, if I had been ahead at all, I probably would have left. But since I was trying to recover money, I thought it was worth the risk to stay there. I didn't see any imminent danger, and the counts were low most of that time, so I wasn't spreading anyway, so I wasn't really that nervous about it. It wasn't until toward the end when I started making my comeback and then started having big swings, large negative, large positive, back and forth for 4 or 5 shoes were like that. So that's when I got a little bit nervous. Anyway, wow, that was quick. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was in there for about 2 hours and 5 minutes. I may have said 1 hour and 5 minutes, but it was 2 hours and 5 minutes at that table. At this casino I just left, I played nothing, I didn't make anything, and I'm leaving. So I'm on my way to the next spot, and hopefully have something good happen there, and I'll be back to update you. As I'm driving here, I'm just thinking back to that blackjack. That second dealer made a lot of mistakes. It was a stay 17 table, and at least 3 times he pulled the card all the way out. At least once I could have seen it if I was looking, but I didn't, and that was a 9. I don't know how much difference it would have made in what I did, but so he made that mistake with getting ready to draw on a soft 17, and then one time I had a 13 and I was staying, and he hit me, and it gave me a 20. He gave me a 7. And then the pit boss came over. Of course, it's the one that has my original fake name, not my real fake name. And she had to stop the play and ask me, now, are you comfortable keeping this, or what do you want to do? You want to cancel the hand? And I'm like, no, I don't want to cancel the hand. I want to keep it. You know, now I've got a 20. So, yeah, that happened. And then there were a couple other times when he thought he had something when he didn't, but he always fixed it himself. He never actually made an actual mistake in the payout, but he did make some errors in his dealing and in his math slightly, but he always fixed it. So anyway, I'm about half mile away from my next casino, and then I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. Pretty quiet here right now. There's people in there, but not as many as you would think right now. So just walking around, just finding scraps. I did play one long play. It was $1.80 a spin, and I was involved with that one for about $300, and ended up making a small profit on that. And then one other small play on the way out. While I was in there, actually a couple other small plays, but while I was in there, I saw some people just standing around, and then I saw some barriers where you couldn't play certain machines. And then I started paying attention a little bit more and noticed that they were filming a commercial in there. So more ads to bring more suckers in so they can fleece them. But what are you going to do? We need those suckers to fill the machines so we can make money. Anyway, yeah, ended the session ahead $53. Not really much at all. And yeah, pretty boring, pretty quiet right now. It is almost midnight right now. It is 70 degrees outside, and I'm moving on to another place. And right now, the way things are going, I should be home by 3 or 3:30. So pretty good. It helped a lot that I left pretty early this afternoon, so that gave me a lot more time to get to places. But we'll see what happens. I'm usually at this place kind of late, and there are a few machines that very few people play, so I might get a chance at something big here. We'll see. So right now, I am letting you go, moving on to the next casino, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. Now, this place is usually either completely worthless or completely worthless. And today, it was not completely worthless. So, I go in, it is dead in this place. There's nothing going on. I walk up and check the first machines. I always check the most important ones because they do get some action sometimes, and I want to make sure that I'm the one that gets them. Later on, there are some machines that I check that rarely get looked at, so they can wait. So I looked at this first machine, and I see a play right away at about $4 a spin, and looks like I have about $20 in free play, so which is unusual. Usually I don't get any here, but there's $20 right now. So I'll put $200 in the machine. I load up the $20 in free play, and I play it through. It takes about $1,200 worth of spins to hit it. And by the time I'm done, I'm ahead like $320 or something on that machine. So that was definitely a nice start. Go around to some other machines and then go check the machine that everyone always doesn't check because they don't understand it. I checked that and I found a play on that one and played that one through, and actually that one was a really nice hit. That took me up to being ahead over $600, and then that was at $6 a spin. And then went into the back corner, found a small play that someone was reserving their seat. They had a few cents in there, and they had the seat turned backward, but when I asked the people around that machine, they said no one's been there for a long time. So it was only going to cost about $4 to see if it would win or not. And I played it through, and it was a big goose egg, basically. Maybe I made back like 50 cents of the $4 or so that it took. Actually, I can tell you how much it took. 3, 4, 5, 25 for those 4 spins. I know it's an unusual number, but it took 5.25, and I basically got maybe 50 cents back. So then I checked some of the other far-reaching areas. I found a couple small plays, lost a few cents, made a few cents on the way out, and ended my session ahead $681. What a surprise that was, because usually I don't see anything here, and there's so many people in here. For one, the machine that people normally don't check, I found a play at a high level, which usually I don't, but that took me less than 2 minutes to play, and the other one probably took me 5 minutes to play, and I was in and out of that casino in less than 30 minutes, and I ended the session ahead $681. So a lot of people ask me, how do I get started in slots? How does it work? And all that kind of stuff. And all I can say is, you can do your research online. You don't want to pay anyone for anything. Most of the time, it's not worth it. I can tell you that the best way to start is by learning about must-hit-buy jackpots and how they work. And then from there, kind of just do research, read the instructions on machines, learn how machines work. And then once you have, things going, then you can start getting a network going, and, you'll take off from there. Once you get the basic skills, then it becomes a lot easier. The problem is this: you travel a lot for not a lot of money often, and lots of times you're in places that are crowded, they're noisy, they're smoke-filled, there are people there that are not the most desirable people, and you have to decide if it's worth it for you. Is it worth it for you to drive, let's say, between 5 or 6 casinos, maybe 5 hours of your day to make between 0 and 1,000? And some days it's going to be losing 1,000. And as your skills improve, you might make more and you might not, because right now it's a little bit overcrowded with people. And you see, like even tonight, I had one casino I went in, I found nothing, and I went out. Another casino I went in, I won $11, and that's all that I could do on the slots. So those casinos are like 45 minutes apart. And to get to that, the first of those 2 casinos took me 2 hours. So you have to have other skills. I suggest card counting. There's all kinds of other things that you can do that I can't just give away. But if you're on the right track and you have questions, I'll help you answer the questions. But I think most people agree card counting is a good way to start. Must-hit-buy jackpots are a good place to start. And you have to like being in that environment, and you'll learn how to manipulate comps and how to get comps and things. And you have to be really careful, because if you're playing blackjack at a place, do you want to play slots there? Because if you're playing slots, then every once in a while you're going to hit a jackpot. And if they want to know who you are because of blackjack, now they know who you are, and now they can ban you, they can put you in OSN, they can put you, they can flyer you, facial recognition, biometric stuff, all kinds of things can happen. So you need to have a good strategy and think things through. And I don't suggest, as a beginner card counter, that you go into a place and try to get comps so that it's more EV for you. It may be at the beginning, but it's really not worth it. And almost everybody that I know regrets doing it. For me, I couldn't help it because I was already going to that casino, and the staff already knew who I was. They saw me in there, and I couldn't help it. And of course, eventually the time came when I was no longer welcome. But after that, thankfully, so far, I've been able to squeeze money out of a lot of these places long term, because I either play blackjack or slots, or if I do both, I do very little blackjack at one place, and very little slots at the other places that I play blackjack at. So just be mindful of all that kind of stuff, and just think things through. You only get one shot at it. Once your name is burned, do you really want to continue card counting and other advantage plays by changing your name? Do you really want to go to court? Do you really want to be trespassed? Think things through and figure out a good strategy. So, all right, right now it's 65 degrees. It is now Monday morning, early morning, and I am heading toward home. Whatever, I think we made, 13, 14, 1500 today. It was a decent day. I was out for only about 12 hours, so it wasn't terrible. And actually, by the time I get home, it'll be like 15 hours, but still not terrible. Long days, but if you're going to have a family and you're going to be doing this and you want to make a lot of money, that happens. If you have a local casino and you're just going to be hanging out at that local casino and nickel and diming them on advantage plays, either table games or slots, then you could probably last a long time if you're not a pest, if you don't bother people, and if you don't get on their radar. So that's what's up. All right, well, tomorrow, or today, I guess, Monday morning and Tuesday, I will be staying close to home. I will be working a lot. Wednesday, I'll be traveling. Thursday is going to be a super complex day because I have a 3-hour or 2-hour training to do online on top of my regular work, on top of my regular meetings. So I'm going to have to decide whether or not it's worth going anywhere. If it's not worth going anywhere, I've got a myriad of doctor's appointments I need to set up that I'm way behind on, dental appointments, all kinds of things. Maybe I could schedule 1 or 2 of them in the afternoon and take advantage of that time. So, and then Friday we'll be traveling. So that's what's going on right now. I'm heading toward home. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.